Hi everyone, and welcome to this tutorial bite for Oxygen Not Included, where we're taking a quick look at research. Research is critical to advancing a colony right from the beginning, and the research menu is found at the top of the screen or on the R hotkey. There are 3 different types of research in the base game, and 4 in the Spaced Out DLC, as seen in the coloured bars. And you'll need more types, and more of each type, the further along the research tree you reach. Note that the yellow Applied Sciences research is unique to the Spaced Out DLC, and although both the base game and the DLC use the orange research bar, these are different. In the base game, this is Interstellar research, but in the Spaced Out DLC, this is data analysis research, and the method for obtaining data banks is different. I'll cover all of these types in both versions of the game, as well as some tips on which technologies to prioritise. So starting with the Novice research, this is required for every technology, and 50 kilograms of dirt is required per unit of research. This means in total 139 tons is needed to complete the tree in the base game, and 167 tons in the Spaced Out DLC, which are surprisingly large amounts. Beware running out of dirt, especially when farming mealwood, which also consumes large amounts. As this research needs to be done early, the starting build is always the same, with a manual generator, 1 or 2 batteries, and a research station. Note that the station can be put in the light of the printing pod for a small speed bonus. Then moving on, the next type is the Advanced Research, or the purple bar, which is done in the supercomputer and is required for all Tier 3 research and above. Typically the supercomputer is quickly added to the starting power circuit and requires a dupe with the Advanced Research skill to operate it. It requires 50 kilograms of water per research unit, which must be hand delivered from a pitcher pump, so ensure this is always available or your research will stop. In total, 131 tons of water is required in the base game, and 159 tons in the Spaced Out DLC. The final type of research in the base game is Interstellar research, which is the orange bar needed to unlock further rocket technologies. This research is done at the virtual planetarium, requiring a dupe with the astronomy skill and data banks supplied from space missions. Although I will cover rocketry in its own tutorial bite, the key point is that data banks are retrieved from space missions with research modules. Each research module will bring back 10 data banks, each worth 1 research point, and every space location has 5 additional discoverables that can be unlocked once. Discovering each of these gives 50 data banks, so sending a rocket with 5 research modules is ideal to get all of these in one go. Note that this also has the added benefit that when all of these are discovered, the rare resource is also discovered and can then be collected, which is extremely useful. From my experience, the easiest way to complete the required space missions is to send a steam rocket with 6 research modules to each of the closest 2 destinations, and then immediately unlock the petroleum engine. With this, then send petroleum rockets with 5 research modules to the next closest undiscovered locations until you have enough data banks to research the whole tree. Into the Spaced Out DLC, after the Novice and Advanced research has been completed, the next type is Applied Sciences research, which is the yellow bar. This is required for Tier 5 technologies and above, and research is conducted at the Materials Study Terminal, requiring a dupe with the Atomic Research skill. 10 rad bolts are needed per research point, and I explained rad bolts in their own tutorial bite linked in the card. I'm showing here 2 common setups, using Weezewarts and radiation lamps, and I would generally prefer the Weezewarts if available. Note the rad bolt shot pathing using the rad bolt reflector to minimise dupe exposure, and that the radiation source is kept away from the terminal. Another tip to mention is the automation, and a NOT gate is used to connect the terminal to the rad bolt generator, as the terminal sends a green signal when full. Using this will ensure no rad bolt shots are wasted, and significantly reduces the power required. Then the last research type in the Spaced Out DLC is the Data Analysis research, which has an orange bar similar to the base game and is required for all Tier 6 research and above. Similar to the base game, this research is done in the virtual planetarium by a dupe with the orbital researcher skill, and data banks are consumed. The major difference here is how data banks are generated, and in the Spaced Out DLC, the building that does this is the Orbital Data Collection Lab. This building can only be placed in a rocket interior and only functions when the rocket is in space whilst requiring plastic to make data banks. As each data bank requires 5 kilograms of plastic, 8.5 tons is needed to complete the entire research tree. For more information on making plastic, check out the tutorial bite on plastic and steel linked in the card. I'm showing an example setup here, which simply has the orbital collection lab, food and toilet. Remember to connect in water and gas lines, which are also connected externally. As the rocket can be anywhere in space, simply set the rocket destination to the planetoid's orbit. Then once they're ready to come down, select the rocket control station and set the destination back. Carbon dioxide or sugar engines are ideal for this purpose and easy to fuel. Touching quickly on oxygen, I personally avoid the oxygen supply issue by using Atmo suits, as when these run out of oxygen and tubes recover their breath, no oxygen is actually consumed. This simplifies the rocket design, but may be considered an exploit by some. If you don't want to do this, then alternatively you can store oxygen in gas pipes, but this will be consumed fairly quickly. So the final topic is to quickly discuss how to choose which research to focus on. My first tip would be to try and research as much as you can, unless the dupe's time is needed urgently elsewhere or resources are low, especially water. It's always better to have access to the technology and not need it, than to need it and not have it. Earlier on, the first technologies to target are around food, power, and unlocking the supercomputer. After that, I tend to focus on bathrooms, insulation, airflow and oxygen to stabilise the living areas. Later on, the focus becomes the mid-game topics, such as plastic and steel, as well as rockets for the mid and late game. And that's all there is to cover about research in Oxygen Not Included. I hope this helps you quickly progress through the tech tree, and thanks for watching.